Hello, everyone. How are you? This is your brother, Minister Isaac Wilson, coming to you with another video. Wanted to share with you as a follow up, we talked about last time. Um, far as far as why is it hard for women to meet or find good men today? Why is it hard for women to find a good man or to meet a good man today? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And if we have time, we also want to talk about when you find a man, how to be able to, or meet that man, how to be able to keep him. Okay. So just before we dig into this topic a little bit, I just want to go briefly over a little bit about me. I know people have seen me doing videos and people wonder, who is this guy that makes these videos? So just to give you a little bit about me, I've been in ministry a little over 30 years. I was called into the ministry at a very young age, in my early 20s. And been, ministering for a long time. I may not have been as consistent as I would like. In life we have peaks and valleys and moments in our lives. But I thank God that I'm still able, when you fall, you're able to get back up and continue to do the work that He's called you to do. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that opportunity. I'm a servant at heart. I believe in, I love serving people and helping people and to watch people as they grow in their walk and then develop and everything else. So, I preached my first trial sermon at my home church I was raised at. It's First Rock Baptist Church under the leadership at that time was Pastor Richard C. Corbin, who was my spiritual father back in that time. When I answered the call to preach, I did my first trial sermon there at First Rock Baptist Church, which is located on Alabama Avenue, Southeast. I went to school at Liberty University. I did some studying there at Liberty University. I've also done some studying at Jericho Bible College back in the 90s as well, early 2000s, when at the time I believe it was Bishop Betty Peebles, her and her husband Betty and James Peebles. I studied under that great ministry as well for some time. I'm an avid football, basketball fan, sports fan, love sports. I played football in high school. I went to H.D. Woodson Senior High School graduate, early 90s. So that's enough for me. Also, I do speaking engagements upon invitation. If someone invites me out to speak or to teach or do any speaking engagements or any teachings, I will come out. I'm gonna give you my information, so for those who would like to get in contact with me or to talk with me more about things I do or so forth. I'm also an author of 3 books. My first book entitled The Insecurities of Men. My second book is titled The Devastations of Abuse Amongst Women. My third and most recent project is titled Misdefining Love, a book on love and relationships. Okay, so let's talk a little bit here about why is it hard for women to find a good man these days? Why is it hard for women to find or meet a good man these days? Well, many people, will probably have a different definition of the word of what a good man actually is. If you went around the room and asked everybody what they think their definition of what a good man is, everybody may have similar meanings but different definitions. of what a good man is to them. Okay, so and that's primarily the whole reason of that is because because people come from different backgrounds, different cultures, and upbringings, where people were raised differently. Some people didn't grow up in a household with a mom and a dad, or two-parent household. Some people were raised in just a single parent home. So with that regard, you may have some parents that may have had boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, or just a stepfather, which is a new dimension these days, as far as when people meeting today. A lot of men have said to me that there's a lot of women in this day and time that have kids, and I mean, I think it's always been that way, as time went back, far as, and you have some men they won't, some men won't date women that have children. That may be a determining factor for some men, but if whatever is meant to be, it will be, regardless if you have children or not. That shouldn't be a discouragement for you women or ladies who have kids, when you're out here trying to date, or even trying to meet, have different friends and so forth. Finding a babysitter. You're not sure if you want different people, or you don't want your kids around men that you're not even sure if you're going to be around them, or if it's going to mature to anything serious. So it's a lot of complexities involved with that. But they used to call a ready-made family, but everybody has their own different preferences. Okay, so whether we know it or not, as kids, we kind of have we tend to follow the patterns of our parents. Growing up, parents don't even really understand or realize sometimes how much your children are paying attention to you, until oh, I forgot to give you my P.O. box and my information. And for those who want to get in contact with me, I'm sorry to stop in the middle. My P.O. box is 311072, Capitol Heights, Maryland. Zip code is 20731. And for those who want to contact me by email, email is IANDS ministries@gmail.com. Okay, sorry about that, to stop in the middle. But whether we know it or not, our children are watching us, and they're paying attention to us and the different decisions that we make as parents, or how we handle various situations that come up in a home. And sometimes kids not understanding or not being mature, a lot of things they don't understand. They may see, and they may feel like, well, some kids understand very much. They got a lot of sense, so, and because they're exposed to so much on TV and the internet now. So, it's really, the kids now are much more advanced from when I was coming up. There's a lot of things that's on TV wouldn't even been shown on TV back in my time. Okay, so parents that realize your kids are watching you, and a lot of times, if you got somebody, whatever's going on in the home, they may think it as the norm. You might be having issues or problems. They see you smoking and drinking in front of them. Whenever you're going through your issues and problems, and they may think and grow up to believe that that's the normal way. Or they may see or hear somebody beating a man that you may have different men in and out of your home. You meeting different guys, got different guys going in and out your home, and people beating on you. They might grow up believing that that's the normal way of life, but not really understanding, the whole the whole time that there's a serious problem going on, that they just, as a child, they're not able to identify or really understand what's going on. Okay, so some women limit their selection process, or they just don't have a clue on how on selecting a good man. You ever heard somebody saying, some women just have a poor taste in men, or they just don't know. They just don't know how to. They have a poor taste, or they do a bad selection in selecting their friends or the guys that they meet, which some women do. And some women, they just don't. They just just take on anybody, I guess, at that particular time, or whoever at that particular time makes them feel good, or wherever they are, emotionally, because women are very emotional beings, and a lot of time they operate off their emotions and their feelings. So, just for an example, so some women may require a man to have a good job, and making a lot of money, and that's it for some. And some women, they may require that he look good, work sometime, he don't have to have a steady job, and and a great sex. That's all some women may require. And although some women just require, as long as he got a nice car and good job, that's enough for me. And so we gotta understand, a lot of time when you're hurting, and when you're hurting, you'll grab onto anything out of desperate situation just for help, as a lifesaver. Like a life raft. When you're drowning, they tell you, if you try to save somebody's life, sometimes you got to be careful, because the person is so frantic and so paranoid and scared that they can possibly cause you to drown, because they're so panicky and afraid. They'll grab onto you and latch on to you. Okay, so some women have limited, and some women have limited selection of men. What I mean by that, they just don't have much to choose from, as far as somebody who's decent. Either some men are homosexual, bisexual, jailbirds, unemployed, and those various things.